बोले सोने हाल सासरी अकाल।
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another edition of Encounters. Today we're going to be discussing the Punjab situation. Not only are we talking about Punjab politically, we're talking about it culturally and historically, where it is, where it should be, and where it needs to go, and more importantly, how it's supposed to get there. And to discuss that with us, we have a very special guest. You've already met him once before, but today it's a different kind of situation. It's one where we can actually talk and express ourselves a bit more freely without the burden of history and a painful one at that. So welcome again to the show, please, by Amar Singh Chahal, Senior Advocate of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, and of course spokesman for Bhai Jagtar Singh Hawara. Bhai Sahab, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So, Bhai Sahab, as I have just alluded, the conversation we're having today is literally about Punjab. We've seen an election just several months ago where it almost looked like Punjab was ready for a revolution. The revolution was going to be headed by the revolutionaries of the Delhi revolution, which is Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party. In your opinion, did you think that revolution was as almost possible the way the media was expecting it to be outside of Punjab? I know inside of Punjab they were written off. You had Sukhbir Badal and Badal Senior. You had Captain Amarinder saying, all pouring water on the fire, ek question nahi, another question nahi banana. But outside of Punjab, social media especially was almost convinced that Aam Aadmi Party was a foregone conclusion, that it was a formality, was vota pejan. All we're wondering, the only mystery was who will be the chief minister from the pack. What was your khayal? What did you think of that?
The people of Punjab wanted change. At least they were completely fed up from the system or from the governance of Badal government.
Yeah.
I think the most unfortunate history of Punjab has happened during the period of Mr. Badal, and at least for about a year of his last tenure as a chief minister. It never happened in the history of Punjab or anywhere that there was a desecration of Guru Granth Sahib.
Yeah.
Nobody was reconciling to this situation at such a large scale. The incidents were happening, but Badal was unable to solve the problem. Rather, it increased from day to day. Although they were aware who is the culprits, still they did not try to
Do you think they were aware?
Yes, they were aware. They did not catch hold of the culprits. What to say, to put them to trial as per law. Their only game was to get political power again. But these, at least Sikh masses were totally against them. They got hated from people. People started hating Badal and his government, that such a degraded situation has been created by him, that for the purpose of power, he is even prepared to go to this extent that the incidents of desecration of Guru Granth Sahib should continue to happen. Unfortunately, another aspect was that instead of catching hold of the real culprits, they started arresting altogether innocent persons who were from Sikh families. This was not acceptable to the people of Punjab and at least the Sikhs. That is why they started hating Badal. During Badal period, another unfortunate system developed, which was drug addiction. Never in Punjab history such a drug menace was there.
But so if we can we just concentrate for a moment on the Bargadi situation?
Yes.
You say that they started arresting completely innocent people. One of those people was Rupinder Singh Panjgre.
Yes, please.
He's a guy he'd already been tortured to the point where, or was it tortured? He had been hit with a lathi
Yes.
to where he had spinal injuries.
Yes.
And then there was a conspiracy concocted of New Zealand or Australian telephone calls,
Yes.
and there were phone intercepts and
Yes.
XYZ. At that point, Sumedh Saini was the DGP,
Yes.
and they did a press conference between him and Sukhbir Badal, Up-Mukhyamantri. Between them, they pretty much told the world that we have the culprits. It's an international conspiracy. Australian Sangat is involved. What was the situation where Sumedh Saini was then replaced by Aurora? How did that come about? Do you know?
He was replaced because of the reason that they tried to solve the problem in the sense that DGP was unable to solve these problems. Therefore, we have replaced. People should wait for the performance of a new one. We will try to check the drug menace as well as desecration of Guru Granth Sahib.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that was also not there. As I have already stated, actually the conspiracy was a political one. The people who were responsible for the same, they were not being touched, and they try to increase the incidents. And Badal's government was totally...
Were they doing this off their own back, or was there a political motivation to that as well?
Yes, political motive was there, that they do not want to have any action against the people who were responsible for the same. That is why they were consolidating them, that you can do this much damage, even we will not touch you. The only problem was that they should vote for the Badal party. Otherwise, there was an absolutely a solution to that they should have been arrested and put to trial. Unfortunately, the man tried to get the votes of those people, but he completely annoyed whole of the Sikh population. They were totally against them. That man is having no principles. He can even ignore such a heinous crime from the other people. That is why they were voted out.
Outside of the India, there was a suspicion about the timing of such an incident, especially the initial Bargadi incident.
Yes.
The Pind Joha Pind where the Jiri Galiyan ch ang pade gaye si. The timing, it came 4 days into a rail roko agitation by Punjab Farmers Association. Could it have been that it was instigated, it was a political instigated move, or was it just coincidental? Was the timing?
No, it was not political. Both was the at least Bargadi incident and Kotkapura incident. They were spontaneous.
Right.
They were the outcome of anger of the people. The incident was not being checked. People were thinking that unless we protest against the government, the situation will increase.
No, I mean the incident, the actual Biadabi. Was the Biadabi incident spontaneous, or was that a politically?
It was not connected with the movement of the Kisans. It was altogether different.
Right. Because outside of the India, in the UK, people believe it was to deflect attention from the Kisans. So the Kisans could be asked, look, forget your agitation temporarily. We have a major issue with Biadabi. That wasn't what happened.
That was not the matter.
Right.
That was a spontaneous, as it even gave rise to Sarbat Khalsa, because the people were totally annoyed. People were fed up of the system which was being given to them by the government of Badal.
Sadly, it cost 2 lives at Kotkapura. It wasn't the only 2 lives, because before that we had seen a Singh Shaheed in Kashmir, and before that we had seen a Singh Gurdaspur, Jaspal Singh was Shaheed in Gurdaspur. So within a Badal regime, that was one government term, one 5-year term, and we've seen potentially 4 people gunned down by the police. We've talked about judiciary before. Is the judiciary still politicized in the 21st century?
The core question is that judicially is to act on the facts provided by the police.
Yeah.
The police was itself responsible for wrongful killings, for wrongful action towards this public,
Yeah.
and more especially the Sikhs. So the police was not acting in any such matters. They were not registering the case. They were not investigating the cases. They were not putting the challan before the courts. Therefore, the courts were unable. Number 1. Number 2, if the people try to approach the court directly, there the courts failed. They did not take cognizance. We say cognizance. They did not take proper action on the matters which they should have taken, because it was going against the police. The police was responsible in wrongful killings. Nobody is prepared to go against the police. At least the courts will not. Because
So in the 21st century, the police is still above the law in Punjab.
Yeah.
Above the law, you've mentioned drugs. We see people like Pulla,
Yeah.
who's also former police, but only former because he was arrested in possession of large quantities of heroin. It seems like the simplest way to ask it, without me trying to formulate a very awkward sounding question. Where did the drugs come from? Simple.
The drugs was coming from Afghanistan
Yeah.
through Pakistan, but it was
Bought by who?
it was organized crime, sponsored and helped by the politicians with the help of the police. It is undoubtful that Bikramjit Singh Majeethia was involved in drug business.
It's doubtful.
It is not doubtful. It is certain.
Right.
It was certain. Everybody was naming him, and facts and figures were available against him that he is responsible. That is why there was a hue and cry. Even some of the political parties took a stand that the moment we came to power, we will arrest Majeethia first, and then we'll see how to solve the problem.
But so I do have to say, though, at the moment, that I haven't seen any evidence whatsoever that links Bikram Singh Majeethia to drugs, and therefore, in terms of this program only, and my, the station's liability also is that that is your opinion. And whether you base that on an educated guess or whether you've seen information, you're more than welcome to state your case.
It is not a guess. Evidence was available against him. Number 1, Polo was making the statement.
Yeah.
He was giving the facts and figure with regard to the drug dealings with Mr. Bikramjit Singh Majeethia.
Yep. Those allegations are public. Absolutely.
The matter was being urged by the public that it should be investigated by the Directorate of Enforcement, which is a Government of India agency, and is dealing with such like cases.
Yeah.
All these matters were not gone into. Nobody was prepared to act upon those matters because Majeethia was having the patronage of Government of India. They supported Jet Li when he was candidate from Amritsar as a member of parliament.
Yeah.
Although he was defeated, his whole election was funded by Mr. Majeethia. So when investigation is to be conducted by the state or by the state agencies, but one thing is very clear, when the people were disputing, these government people, that false allegations are there with regard to drug menace in Punjab. One thing we cannot deny, nobody can deny this aspect, that the persons who are suffering jail terms, who are in jails, out of those 65% were drug addict. We can say so that public is making false allegations. We can say so that political parties are taking wrong stand. They are making false allegations just to defame the government. But who will explain that from where the drugs went inside the jails? The jails are under the supervision or control of the government of Punjab. They are having total complete set of security. Nobody can touch the jail unless they go through a procedure. Their particulars are noted. Their verifications are being conducted. So how the drug went inside the jails? It went inside the jail because of the connivance of the jail authorities and at the direction of government people.
Politicians.
And that is politicians. The police was helping. The jail authorities were also conniving, and politicians were also there who were controlling whole of the system. So who will explain? It will be explained by Mr. Badal. It will be explained by his minister who was in charge of the jails. Where is the explanation that how those people got the drugs inside the jail? So government people were...
Could it not be rogue employees of the jail's penal system?
Yes, they are subordinate. If the minister says, nobody can...
No, but without the minister saying.
Yes.
What if it's just a rogue employee?
Like what?
Just an individual employee conniving with the local drug dealer.
Yes, the dealers, those are under the directions of the minister. They were doing all this. It was a organized business. It's not a small business. It is a business running into crores and crores of rupees. So when the state is functioning like this, who other can be believed?
But is the thing is, accusations like that, they appear on the face to be absolutely fantastic. They're huge accusations. Yet we have Amarinder Singh, captain, not the singer. But we have a chief minister now who is politically opposed to the BJP and Shiromani Akali Dal combined. Are you suggesting that there is a connection between the two?
It is apparent because the present chief minister is not touching to those controversial points such as desecration of Guru Granth Sahib. He has constituted another commission. We try to tell the present chairman of the commission, Justice Ranjit Singh, that when already two commissions are there, one was private one headed by a Supreme Court judge. He has given the report.
Was that the Khatri one? Yeah?
Khatri. And another commission was constituted by Badal government, headed by Justice Jora Singh.
Yeah.
When already two reports are there, why third report? Why not you implementing those reports? Why not you are making those reports public? If somebody has been found to be guilty in those reports, what will third report will do? Meaning thereby the commission has been given 6 months terms. He will not give the report for years together. If he will give the report, there is no possibility of making it public. And if it is not made public, then what is the utility? But by that time, the people will forget.
Yeah.
The situations will change.
Did the Jora report and the Khatri report come to the same conclusion?
Possibly. I have read the report of Justice Kataju, but was not able to get the report of Justice Jora Singh, although I tried. As per my information, he held the police people to be guilty of killing 2 people at Bargadi,
Yep.
giving injuries to many other people, and the commission recommended very good compensation to those people who have been killed and who have been injured, and the commission also recommended that the police personnel who fired at the peaceful gathering, they should also be tried. That is why it has been sidetracked by
They should be not disciplined but tried
but they should
in
be
criminal
tried.
court.
Yes, for killing they should be tried. So
And that's your understanding of the Jora report?
yes.
The as yet private Jora
so
report.
if he is not prepared to take action on the previous report, how we can expect? Second aspect, as we are discussing, he has constituted a committee or a body headed by a additional Director General of Police to check the menace of drugs. But unfortunately, where is the checking? Again, innocent people are being implicated in false cases. People who are taking the drugs, who are victims of the society, they have also been arrested.
The drug takers?
Yes.
Not the buyer, not the sellers?
Not the person who are dealing.
Yeah.
At least the crime, origination of crime is not being checked. The people who are earning crores of rupees, they are not brought to book by law. So there is no expectation of any change. There was another big problem that mines were being looted or plundered by some politicians or some gundas in Punjab. When Amarinder Singh has taken over, that crime has increased rather from decreasing. The allegation against his minister are also there. So the problems have been more complicated. Solution is not there. That is why the success of the government, or unfortunately affairs of Punjab, are not likely to improve under the chief ministership of Amarinder Singh. The people will suffer.
It appears, the way you're saying things, it appears to the layman that Punjab seems to be mismanaged by one, only to be handed over to somebody who's mismanaging it
by another.
their own way.
That is
So from one way to another, it's
unfortunately the people of Punjab are not likely to get proper relief, proper administration at the hands of the present government.
So we've got a drug menace. We see earlier this week, Sukhbir Badal has asked the national agency to investigate the sand mafia, Reta mafia.
It is not a matter to be investigated by a central agency. At least they should check their own past, what they did wrong to the system.
Yeah.
Instead of asking them when they were wrong, they are asking now another wrong person that you correct it. So I think it will not happen.
Okay, but we're going to quickly go for a break. We'll come back. We'll continue discussing Punjab in its current state. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Gur Fateh Ji, welcome back after the break. We were talking just earlier about sand mafias, drug mafias, and obviously police firings and misgovernance when it comes to hurting the religious sentiments of the population of Punjab, khas karke Sikhan di,
Hanji.
which is always something that is sensitive, given Punjab's history and continued oppression of that section of its populace. With that in mind, we see Harmandir Sahib has been beautified.
Yes.
Right the way around. It has marble concourses now. That if we read the book by Julio Ribeiro, was asked to be Operation Corridor, if I remember correctly. What relation does Operation Corridor and that need post Operation Black Thunder 2, that need for a corridor around the Harmandir Sahib complex where people can be seen to be leaving and entering, and that the maze of houses and galiyan that used to be immediately within the vicinity of Harmandir Sahib, is there a relation to the two, or are they completely sort of separate issues?
It is not a question of beautification or giving some grace to the functioning of Harmandir Sahib. It is purely from the point of view of security.
Yeah.
They have created this corridor so as to surround the premises of Harmandir Sahib in case in future such an eventuality is there as it was in the year 84. So the term that it has been beautified is not so much relevant. Relevant is that they did it for their own purpose, just to tell the people that we are very, very sincere so far as the functioning of Sikh religion is concerned, and the upkeep of Harmandir Sahib, and that is why we have beautified it. It was just to satisfy the people. Otherwise, we are not concerned with the beautification of the religious place. We are only concerned with the concept for which it has been established. The concept is to give religious sermons to the people, and at least for the whole of the world, for whole of the humanities. Sikh religion is based on Sarbat da Bhala, welfare of all the people.
Of all
Therefore,
humanity.
the voice of Guru Granth Sahib, which is a universal Granth for all of the humanity, because the hymens of different types of people are there. Muslims are there, Sikhs are there, Hindus are there, lower class people are there, high class people are there, and everybody is welcome there, whether he is a Sikh, whether he is a Hindu, whether he is a Christian, whether he is a Bodhi. From whole of the world the people are visiting that place. So that message was going on, that will continue to go, and the concern of beautification is not so much relevant in these circumstances. The universal message of Guru Granth Sahib, the sanctity of the place will remain forever, whether it is beautified or not beautified. But the only concern of the state was to have the security system for them. So I think it is not so important, and no grace can be given, no marks can be given, no credit should be given to Mr. Badal for such a beautification.
Okay, so we've covering the Punjab as we're carrying on. We've gone from changes of political party to non-change of the political environment. We've gone from the drug menace continuing. We've gone with Sikh oppression continuing. Everything is continuing. It's just changing its facial features, but the system continues.
Yes.
With that in mind, we're looking, as we're moving towards Harmandir Sahib, okay, the beautification is the outside. The way you just said that we're more concerned with the functioning of Sikhi rather than its appearance. So the functioning of Sikhi, After Bargadi, there was Sarbat Khalsa of November 2015. With that Sarbat Khalsa, the Jathedars who were occupying the 5 takhts were removed by a very sizable 700,000 strong gathering at Chabba village in Amritsar Jilla. So with that in mind, how can Gyani Gurbachan Singh, whether we consider him Satkar Jog or not, how can he remain in position simply by political patronage when 700,000 Sikhs have expressed their, plain desire for him to step down? Well, how under what auspices is he continuing?
The matter is very much clear. Gyani Gurbachan Singh is having no moral and religious right to remain as Jathedar of Akaal Takht.
Yeah.
Because of his removal in that Sarbat Khalsa, as you have stated. But unfortunately, if Punjab has been brought to such a bad situation by Badal during his 10 years rule, he has also destroyed rather the Sikh religious institutions.
Attempted to.
Nay, yes, to some extent he has destroyed. In the sense, now there is no value of Akaal Takht. There is no value of the Jathedar which he is appointing. Akaal Takht's principle will remain, but its functioning has been brought to dead end by Badal.
Yeah.
He has been appointing the Jathedars of every Takht as he wishes. We have seen the statement of Gyani Gurmukh Singh, who was Jathedar of Damdama Sahib,
Yeah.
a few days before his removal and shifting to some other place, that every political, very religious decision was being taken by Badal family, and to this extent even that Jathedars are being called at his residence place at Chandigarh, and they are being dictated to take a particular decision, which one of them, Gyani Gurmukh Singh, opposed it. So under these circumstances, when political system has totally gone to this extent that they are not bothered about the Sikh institution, they are not bothered about the Sikh principles, they are not bothered with regard to the universe message of Guru Granth Sahib, they are only bothered with regard to their own political power, which they unfortunately lost because of their own wrong policies, because they are totally indifferent attitude towards the religious. So the functioning of Darbar Sahib, Akali Dal, Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee is very unfortunately off the point. They are not serving the Sikh causes. Shromani Akali Dal was also meant for championing the cause of Sikh masses.
Yeah.
So that is not available there. Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee is also under the thumb of Badal Parvar for the time being. They brought they brought Professor Budungar, Kirpal Singh Budungar, as president of the Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. The man tried to bring various factions of Sikhs together, and he tried by calling all the factions such as Shromani Akali Dal Man, Dal Khalsa, etc., that during this year we should be peaceful and we should combinedly hold a function with regard to June 84 massacre of the Sikhs. All the people agreed that yes, we should be together for this event, but one condition they put, that Gyani Gurbachan Singh will not give any sandesh or any message to the masses. He agreed, but unfortunately It came in press even that it was Sukhbir Singh Badal who did not agree,
Yeah.
and he directed Budungar that Gyani Gurbachan Singh will deliver the message. Actually, he tried to do so, with the result that there was again disturbance in the
Jikare,
gathering.
yeah.
The other Jathedar, Mr. Dhyan Singh Mand, he also delivered.
The
And there
caretakers.
Yes. So this is happening. This has happened because of the fault of Badals. If they would not have interfered in the religious affairs of the Sikhs, the matter would have been altogether different. But he is so unfortunate man that he is not realizing that already he has lost the power. If the Sikhs will come together at least religiously, it will be for the benefit of whole of the community.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he did this wrong.
So may I ask you a contentious question?
What?
My contentious question is this. Gurbachan Singh Gyani Sahib tried to announce his sandesh this year and last. And both years he was Jikare were drowned out his speech. He wasn't able to be heard. And acting Jathedar Dhyan Singh Mand gave us sandesh. Now, Bhai Jagtar Singh Hawara had given a sandesh also, but the acting Jathedar read his own sandesh and not that of the chosen Jathedar. What's your opinion on that?
I think it is not of very serious importance. If Jagtar Singh Hawara has sent a message and that has been read in London, it is as good as Mr. Mand was available, with him Sangat was available, with him other Jathedars were also there. So these two sandesh are not contradictory. They are giving one and the same message to the masses, at least 6. So if another message has been read, it is as respectable as the one which has been sent Mr. Hawara. So we should not take it very in a sense that there is some differences between the two. They are in consonance, they are acting together, they are consulting at everyone, and the Jathedars, Mr. Mand and Daduwal, they are occasionally meeting Hawara Sahab and consulting him on important issues. But limitations are there because of the reason that they can't go to him every now and then because of distance, because of other complications. The jail authorities are not permitting them to meet immediately and after short intervals. So I think the Jathedars, 3 Jathedars, are leading the Panth in an honest way. They are trying to consolidate the Sikh masses. At least one thing we must feel, that they are facing very, very odd situations.
In what sense?
Yes, they are having no power. The masses are already suffering and they have suffered a lot. Their line of action is hard one. It is against the government. It is against Shromani Akali Dal. It is against Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. It is against many other institutions.
Yeah.
So they are facing very, very big problems.
But
So we should take their functioning by keeping all these problems in mind.
hey, if, with regard to the problems they're facing, we've gone from a 7 lakh akhat
Ji.
to barely 5 or 6,000 people at this year's, 2016, the eventual Sarbat Khalsa, where it was literally the difference between night and day. We have kithe 7 lakh da akhat, langar di seva chal rahi hai. There's a sort of administered area where people can congregate with shelter, with carpet, and this time with a stage, with toilet facilities. And this time you could see that there had been absolutely no organisation gone into it. It was a bus parked in a field.
Complex.
No, absolutely not. It was literally a bus parked in a field with a loudspeaker. And you know, to call that Sarbat Khalsa.
I think there was a big difference between the two Sarbat Khalsas.
Yeah.
The second one was not allowed by the
Well, the first one was not allowed also. It was,
and there was no such checking. Second one was there, but all the leaders were arrested. They were not permitted even to have the stage. They were not permitted to organize other matters.
so then why go ahead with it?
They announced it. Once it was announced, people went there at least, I think.
But it was announced before that also, and they postponed it. Why not postpone it again?
I think the people, there was a lot of comments in the press with regard to second Sarbat Khalsa. The people from the press, they praised rather that the people braved like anything because of such restrictions.
For the second one?
Second one. They put every problem for the gathering, but still the people gathered to the extent of 20,000 to
there was talk of meetings and Vidhi Vidhan. We need to make a process where we have a constitution for the running of Sarbat Khalsa, and all of that was left in the air. And there was the calling of a Sarbat Khalsa. Half the people were asking for it to be postponed. There were rumours that Jagdar Singh Hawara had written a letter expressly asking for it to be postponed, or that he should be excluded from being named there as anything to do with it. He didn't want to be connected with it, and yet it continued. And is that not, when we're looking at a vacuum when it comes to official politics, where the government is actively engaging in anti-Sikh measures that are perceived as such, and they have that result.
I think
and the one institution that remains open to us to use is also misused. It really does close the one avenue that the Sikh nation has of congregating and expressing its political views. Do you feel it was misused?
I think it was not made public, if there was any. It came to my notice. It was a wrong act on the part of one person. I know him. He tried to create problem for the Sikhs for one reason or the other. If he would have resigned, by making it public. That was not there.
I've seen a letter in which he does resign.
No, but it was not made public. Who did it? Which we must find. I know that man, but I think it is not necessary now to make it public.
Yeah, but so you don't believe the authenticity of that letter?
Yes, so it was not made public. The writing was stated to be there, but because of certain intervening circumstances, Jathedar Sahab was made aware that this is not way to tackle the problem. If there are differences between 2 persons or 3 persons, we should sit together and we should resolve. The body is functioning well. If some gap is there, it should be made good. In initially the problem was like this, that the Jathedars which were appointed or which were selected by the Sarbat Khalsa, they were unable to visit Mr. Hawara for months together because of the reason that they were being arrested time and again after a few days. Then we tried to create such a situation that the Jathedars who are functioning, they should meet Wara after few intervals. They started going to him. They are meeting now regularly after a month or so. They are consulting each other. Because of those meetings, there are no differences. They are nicely functioning. They are sincerely functioning. They are meant for the cause of the Sikhs, and they take it. They give it to the public that we are meant for the Panth. We will not create any problem for the Panth. Or intercede, we will work together. So something can be there, unpleasant incident can be there, but it should not be taken to be so serious that they will depart.
You throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes, yes. They are aware that the Panth is going through a very uncertain period. The problems are mounting day by day. Therefore, if they are having some difference and if they will try to run away from the scene, there will be more problem for them even and for the Panth even.
Okay, but you've said that they are working together now as a team, and I think the machine is somewhat oiled, and that that was exactly what it required. There was no continuous communication mechanism that they had before, which they have now. In terms of the wider Panth or the wider Sangat, I mean, consider it summing up. There's very little time left, but in terms of that communication and the way forward, not only for the Jathedar that was Sompege by the Sarbat Khalsa, but in terms of the Sangat in wider general, what can they do that can aid the alleviation of some of the pain and the tensions in Punjab, politically and socially?
The Jathedars are practically meant for religious purpose more. Political matters they can resolve with the getting together of the political parties who are working for the Panth. I think ever since they have been given the responsibility, they are working well. They are going to the public every then and now.
Yeah.
Out of the period which they have remained outside, they have gone to the people from village to village, from many other points of gatherings. We should not forget about this, that for a major period they have been taken to jails.
Yeah.
And they are facing many cases which have been registered during the period of Mr. Badal.
Yes.
So if their functioning were having such handicaps that they are outside for a few days, they are inside for months together, even then when they were available to the and they were out of the jail, they are going to the people, they are talking with them, they are sharing the difficulties of Panth. We should take that they are normal, they are functioning. But the situation is not so normal. They are having many handicaps.
What can the Sangat do to help alleviate that?
They are going to the Sangat. I think they when they are meeting the Sangat, from the Sangat side there is no complaints.
No, what I'm asking you is the 5 people can't change the fortunes of a nation. What should the nation be doing to help itself?
I think it is a collective matter which the Sikhs should think. At least Jathedars are the only...
Basically, let me put it to you like this. If you wanted every Pradhan of every local Godara to give a speech this Sunday to their Sangat, what would you want that national speech to be?
The national speech should be that Sikhs should try to consolidate on the lines which are for the benefit of the Sikhs, which consolidates the Sikhs, which are meant for solving the problems with regard to their targets, with regard to their problems. Unless they are together, at least those people should get together who are thinking that this line is proper. At least Badal group will not go for the welfare of the Sikhs, although they claim that we are meant for the Sikhs. They have damaged the cause of the Sikhs. They are joining those that party which is anti-Sikh,
Yeah.
which have been declared to be enemies of the Sikhs by the Akaal Takht Leader. They are principally, and with regard to the tenets of the Sikhism, they are damaging those ones in a very systematic way. So if we have companionship with such a party and we do not check their such activities, if we are partners, why not Badal, when he was in dominating position, to put a condition on his partner BJP that you can't interfere in our religious places. You are least concerned with whether the Nanak Shahi calendar should be there or whether something other should be there. You are having no right to tell us what should be the Marjada, what should be not be the Marjada. Unfortunately, Marjada, calendar, status of Sh੍ਰੋਮਣੀ Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, functioning of Jathedars, these have been these have been harmed by the BJP or RS
Yeah.
more than Mr. Badal.
They've been specifically targeted.
So Badal
by-
has become tools in their hands. If that is the situation, then the only way out of the problem for the Sikhs is to consolidate themselves and do not have any concern with the parties which has already damaged the cause of the Sikhs, and they are the working anti-Sikh system. They should meet together with the other parties, with the other factions of the Panth who are working for Chaddi Kala of the
Yeah. Professor, thank you for taking your time out, and it's valuable time.
ਗ੍ਰੇਟਫੁਲ ਜੀ,
to-
ਬਹੁਤ
to-
ਬਹੁਤ
to-
ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨੀ,
to
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਦੇ
share your
ਸਨਮੁਖ
views with
ਲਿਆਂਦਾ
us.
ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ।
Right.
ਯੂਕੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਨਮੁਖ ਟੀਵੀ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਹੋਈਏ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨੀ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ
Thank
ਕਾ
you.
ਖਾਲਸਾ,
Khasa, Waheguru
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
Ji
ਜੀ
ki
ਕੀ
Fateh.
ਫਤਿਹ।
That's it for this week, Encounters. We've tried to again get to the bottom of something and probably not got halfway through. But the key seems to be, as Bhai Hawara has said, as all the Jathedars say, as Bhai Sahab has said, as anybody with genuine Panthadard in them has said, Ikatthe hovo, ekta karo. That's the key. So ekta is the key. Let's all stay one, and we'll meet you back here next Wednesday for another encounter. Until then, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ
Waheguru Ji
ਖਾਲਸਾ,
Ki Fateh.